John Burnett. He's a political strategist, and he joins us now live from New York. John, great to have you with us on the program. The conclusion from the committee chairman concluded that these tech giants have all the power and they need to be broken up. Do you agree with that statement?
Well, the thing is that I'm not too sure about breaking them up, but holding them to a higher standard. We've seen there's evidence in 2016 that they manipulated the search in the case of Google. And we know that based upon, since 2008, the Obama era of presidential politics, advertising online is critical to national campaigns, state campaigns, as well as local. So social media is in the big tech is an intricate part of our political system, and we have to hold it accountable to make sure that it's fair.
When it comes to regulating these tech giants, John, how do you draw the line between misinformation and free speech? Because, certainly there is some responsibility that lies with these giants to disseminate misinformation, but it gets into a very gray area and murky territory when you start regulating what people post.
Yeah, that doesn't sound like America. That sounds like a third world country with regard to our founding principles here in America in terms of free speech. Look, should they take some accountability and steps to make sure that there's not misleading or misrepresentation of certain information, especially during campaigns? Of course they should. Are they the sole gatekeeper? Of course not. There has to be some level of common sense by the average individual. And look, with regard to the hydroxychloroquine as an example, there are some studies that says, you know what, it doesn't do anything. But there are a lot of other studies that said, yes, even a Yale professor, right, medical professor, actually said there's some evidence that hydroxychloroquine, when administered early, can actually save lives. So there's that balance. Why is big tech stepping in, blocking conservatives when they share information related to hydroxychloroquine? And there's no greater example than Don Jr. being blocked by Twitter, or in terms of his tweet.
John, I want to pick up on that point that you mentioned. That is something that we heard from Representative Jim Jordan, who said that they've been censoring conservatives and that will have an impact on the election. How important is social media right now to these campaigns, given the pandemic that we're in? How much of a factor do you think that that's going to play in the outcome of this November vote?
The forefathers would have never thought that there would be a day where two opposing parties and opponents in the presidential election won't, with a couple of months to go before the election, haven't even really started campaigning. Everything has been online, whether it be through Zoom, whether it be through YouTube, whether it be through Facebook, Google, and so forth. That they have so much power given before the pandemic, and then when you factor in the pandemic, there's no room for any censorship. There is no room to pick and choose what information and what people see. Again, that's a third world country tactic. People want information. Let people decide. In fact, even on my own Facebook and Twitter accounts, when there's dissenting comments, I let it go as long as they're not using profanity, right, or making it personal. If they're expressing their own opinion, let it go. Let the people decide.
All right, John Burnett, this is a fascinating topic and a fascinating conversation. Unfortunately, we have to leave it there, but we really appreciate you coming on. Thanks for that.